internship in 2021 and a pre-placement offer as well. Ask Shraddha to share her valuable experience with Google.
Yeah, thank you, Sakshi. Hi, guys. Hope everyone's doing fine. So, I'll cut to the chase. Um, like I did summer internship at Google this year, and it was really awesome experience. There were a lot of embarrassing moments and fun moments, and obviously a lot of hard work went there. And so I'll be explaining not explaining, but just sharing my experience what I did there. So when I joined, like when I got the internship over there, I thought that at Google how people would be interacting because I didn't have no experience as such with professionals. So I would always term it like how would I professionally communicate with them. But let me assure you guys, like this is totally just how we guys interact here in the club. Totally same. There's no nothing different. There's no particular need to frame your sentences anyway. They just totally freely communicate with them. And communication is a really a thing that they look forward in selecting their candidates for further needs. So my internship was for 12 weeks, and when it started because there are a lot of challenges due to this COVID circumstances, I received my laptop 3 weeks late. So which is not actually a good thing, but all those like during those 3 weeks, I was actually chilling and having a fun, smooth life until I talked to one of my batchmates who was also interning at Google, Shiraksha, and she told me that they have already started coding. So at that time, I figured out, okay, actually work is going on and this is really bad. But I didn't know about this, so no, I never complained about it to my mentors and all, and they took it like, okay, this girl is very chill and she has a positive attitude. So this actually worked in my favor. So it was like, the same scene in which Michael Scott is being appreciated by his boss for doing something he never intended. It was like that scene. So if you don't get that reference, please do watch The Office. Yeah, anyway, so uh, yeah, other than that, like because of those 3 weeks, there was a lot of burden in the work because I was supposed to complete my project and I lost 3 weeks and I couldn't code at all. And even after I got my laptop, I had to go through all the code bases that was there and understand the frameworks that I had to work on. So it went a little bit hectic than the other interns. So that was a bit challenging, but that was taken note by my mentors, and they also, kept a note of it that I was going through this. So in the team, like I was actually working on a team project. So in the team project, we are basically have to design like how the project goes is we're having phases. Like there is a design doc phase, and then there is a implementation. In the design doc part, you have to design how you are the approach you are going to give for your project, and for the implementation part, how you are actually going to implement it. Then you have your actual coding phase. So like when I started, I would go through the code base, and like at every point I will think, okay, now I have the complete picture of what's going on. But as soon as I'll verify it with my mentors and my teammates, it'll turn out that it is wrong. So that will happen a lot of time that what you're thinking might not be right, but that's okay. And yeah, like, and my internship will during my final presentation. So in the internship, when you're actually done with your project, so you have to present your project, what you have done, and your experience to your like the whole team. So, but like just before a day, uh, when I had to actually present my final work, my project was not actually completed. So at that point, my other teammates actually helped me. I lost access to some few things which I needed to run my project, so I had to present a video demo. So my teammates helped me. Like one of them was making a demo for me, the other was completing a code for me. So like I felt like I was a manager instead of intern. So that's how it went. So you can see like people are really nice, they're kind, and whatever doubts you ask, they'll always be there for you, and you don't need to hesitate. Like this is the worst thing you can ever do is being hesitate about asking something. So that was pretty much my internship part. It was really chill, but I can't tell about. So this, as you would have realized, this is nothing very specific to Google as such. This is what you experience in all the internships. But like this was my experience, and yeah, I forgot to mention about my preparation part. So my preparation was like it's nothing special for Google as such, but when I joined college from the first year, I started doing a little bit of competitive programming. So there is no one hard and fast way to actually get to Google or any company for that matter. Like this is one way which worked for me. So that was like I was coding, and then I started giving contests on code courses in second year, and then during the summer of our internship season was coming, so I started doing a little bit of lead code, and we had these interviews with our seniors, and I got to know their experience, what really works. So that's pretty much work for me. And for the interview part, you have like for Google, there are like two DSA rounds will be there, and in that, like I was, the interviews were pretty chill for me, luckily, and they asked me questions based on like DP entries and all. So you have to like, there was one question which I was not completely able to solve, but like I was able to give them an approach on which I will was able to build. So not coming directly to the like they gave me hints and then I solved the whole question. So that's how the interview went. So it was nice. Yeah. So that's it from my side. Like that was my experience.
Thank you so much, Shraddha, for sharing your insights. Next, we have Hima Sajeev. She got a Microsoft internship through the Codis program in 2020 and received a pre-internship offer and a pre-placement offer as well, and later interviewed for Google and cracked it to receive an FT offer. So over to Hima.
So hey guys, I'm Hema. I thought like I'll brief you about my preparations and my experience as a not specific to Google, but just as a general case. So when I started with CP was during my second year. I was in MEC. I changed my branch to IT in second year, so that's why I started it CP and with coding in second year. And then we actually had a data structures course as part of our curriculum in second years, which basically pretty much covered all the basics like binary trees, and tree traversal, BFS, DFS, etc. I can't stress you enough the importance of knowing the basics of different data structures, the basic data structures, and like how to code it up from scratch, and especially the time complexities. So actually, like few days before the interviews, Google interviews, what I did was just brush up the basic data structures. I made sure that like I could code it up from the scratch, and I was very well sure with the time complexities. I mean, knowing the basic stuffs is pretty important. And initial days I was really bad at CP. Had trouble in solving even the easy questions. But as you know, only thing we can do is continuing our practice. As we go on practicing, even though I mean we are not able to do some questions, like my advice will be to note, just push yourself so that at least you get the brute force solution. And like if you can't, if you want to look at the solution, yeah, okay, but just don't try to code it up at that instance. Sorry. Look at the solution, but keep it for 1 week. I mean, if you look at the solution and code it up, you will be coding up from your memory, but you will be trying to remember what you read and trying to code that up. So it's better to force yourself to find the solutions, and if you can't, look at the solution and keep it for like one weeks, so that like you can code it up from your memory itself, like not from what you read. So that would be one of the tip. And so doing company specific questions will also help, even if it was for Microsoft or even if it was for Google. Like doing company specific questions actually really helped me. And then I wanted to talk about the importance of resume. So having a clean and good resume is really important. So in case of Google, I couldn't write the initial test, which was the first screening process. But then I was selected for the interviews. So first I thought it was a mistake, as I didn't write the test. But then I contacted the coordinators, and they said like the test was pretty tough, and maybe they gave more weightage to the resume. I think you got the point. So resume is really important. Have a good resume, get it reviewed from your seniors. Actually, what I did was I got one of the templates from my seniors, and I just edited that. So it should be clean. Getting it reviewed from seniors will really help. And then to talk about Google interviews, I had total of 3 rounds of interviews. And one point I would give is for interviews in general, like try to think out loud. don't keep the points to yourself. Like whatever you're going through, whatever solution you're trying to, whatever solution is going through your mind, just try to think it out loud. So like if you're silent for 1 or 2 minutes, you will think, they'll think like you are lost, we are lost. So it will also help to, I mean, loosen up the environment. So thinking out loud will really help. Then one thing to note is that like they actually don't want the perfect answers. They especially look at how your critical thinking abilities and how you approach the question. Like, is your basic strong? Are you strong with time complexities and stuffs, and yeah, stuffs like that. So like having a perfect answer has, I mean, the other things are more important than having a perfect final solution. Actually, my second and third round wasn't even that good. Like I couldn't answer a few questions in my second and third round, but yeah, as I said, like I tried to think out loud, and like I think that mattered most. Then uh, about coding speed, yeah. So like once you have a solution in your mind, you it should not take you that much time to code it up, because that shows your coding abilities. While coding, like you should not give time for thinking, because that should be finished before you start the coding process. Yeah, so that would be about the interview experience. And then, yeah, so I think most of you knows about the cracking the coding interview book. Actually, that helped me a lot, not that question part, but whatever tips she gave about how to prepare for the interviews, and then like the solving, I mean, problem solving strategy that we can follow, the preparation strategy we can follow. That was really helpful for me. So actually, I went through it a couple of times before I started the preparations. Yeah, that is also very important. And I usually practiced on lead code. Yeah, I actually, yeah, 1 or 2 competition, that was it, but I never went into that competition side. But I practiced in my own pace in lead code. And yeah, and before the interviews, I usually focused on company specific questions. Yeah, that's my experience.
Thank you so much, Hima, for sharing your experience. So up next is Prakriti Goyal, who is the current convener of IE. She completed GSOC, that is Google Summer of Code 2020 with CRIU. Next, she had an Amazon internship in 2021 and a Google offer as well. So Prakriti, kindly share experience with us.
Hi, am I audible?
Yeah, yes, you are.
Yeah.
Hi guys, so my name is Prakriti. I'm currently in my final year IT, and as mentioned, I interned in Amazon and currently will be joining Google. Now, I have a couple of points that I would like to say, and hopefully you take that back. It's general advice, not specific to Google, but something which really helped. I think helped me crack Google. Now, many of you might not know, but I did. This is not my first offer from Google. I had an internship offer also from Google for the role of application engineer. So, which brings me to my first point is that never say no to an opportunity. Now, I got Amazon in around July, and Google contacted me around December. So now I already had a good offer in my with me. I wasn't sure if I wanted the role of AE, and there was this 6 months wait period if I did not qualify for the interviews. Now all these things were enough to stop me from applying as well. But something my seniors told me is what I'm telling you right now: never miss an opportunity. Now, the now why I think that helped me is they put me in their database. So when I cleared that interview, I was there in the database as a potential candidate. Now, Google works on a referral system a lot, as everyone must know about it. They also maintain this thing called as database. At least that's what I've heard from the employees. So they maintain this thing known as a database, which they keep checking again for people. Like yeah. So once you are on their database, it helps you get shortlisted again and again. Now, thus I would say never say no to an opportunity. Um, yeah, so just give the interview even if you think you might not, it's not something that you might want. In the worst case, all you gain is experience, which is very valuable. Now, it's not only Google that I interviewed for. I interviewed for numerous other companies as well, which I did not qualify for. But the experience and whatever I learned throughout those things helped me crack Google in the end. Now, now the second point which I want to say is know what you want. Now, I knew that I did not want to go into the application engineer field. The difference between application engineer and software engineer is not much. It's two different roles in Google. One of them focuses more on the internal tools and products because Google is a huge industry. They have a lot of internal tools and products. So the application engineer focuses on building that, while software engineer builds all the products that we use. Now, the difference between this was sufficient for me to say that, okay, I do not want to be working on internal tools. I would rather be working on something which will be impacting a larger user base. So this is what I wanted. And I knew what I wanted, and thus I was able to say, no, this is not what I want, and I will be applying again. Because I knew I had a final in my final year, Google will be coming again. I knew I had seniors who I can contact for referral. And even with that 6 months wait period, I would be able to apply at least twice. So with all this thinking, I was able to say no to Google. And so the second point, know what you want and give it your all. Now, I after this, so I prepared well for Google. Now, okay, I didn't actually prepare well before. I had plans of preparing well, but what happened was when Google came off for this off-campus drive, as many of you might have seen, for the first years who haven't, for the current second years, they come for an off-campus drive, not officially on campus, but we have Spocks and all. So they came. That time I had just finished my internship. So while you're working on your internship, you usually do not have time to go with coding questions and all that things. So I didn't have the time to prepare much. And so that means like the 2-3 months which I was preparing for my internship, working on it, I wasn't able to give my uh, prepare on my coding, my DSA skills. And one thing with DSA, it needs constant practice. So by the time it came, I was struggling to solve an easy question on lead code. Now, yeah, so the initial test didn't go very well, but as Hima said, they did not focus much on the test, and I got lucky and I got shortlisted. The few things I think that helped me in getting shortlisted is first the GSOC because it gives a small referral. Second was being already selected for an AE role, which added to my referral thing, along with my resume, which was highlighted because of all of this. Now, yeah, so when I got shortlisted, there was 1 week left for the interviews, and I was still struggling with the easy question. So, yeah, so over here, I would like to say the third point I'd like to mention over here is each and every one of us has the potential to do it. We just need to work hard. So, this 1 week, I spent the entire time working on questions, either coding, either going back to basics. I had forgotten Dijkstra's algorithm. I was completely confused as to what it was. I had to go back, watch videos 1 hour long, and then that's when it became clear. So I spent all this time studying, focusing. That 1 week period that I had after getting shortlisted to before um to the interview day, I was from not being able to solve an easy question, I had moved to being able to solve a medium to a hard level question. So this is the level question they usually ask: a hard medium or an easy hard. So yeah, so I was able to move there by constant practice. Which leads me to my fourth point. Have a preparation plan. You need to prepare effectively, you need to have a plan. Now, this plan varies from person to person, but this is what I believe helped me. So I'll be sharing a couple of links in the chat and you guys can look at it. So this is one of the lead code 12-week plans, which, if you can see, has all the topics that are there, uh, which are usually asked in most of the interviews. And this is something that's extremely useful. So I had gone through this before my interviews and before, like long before, and I had just had to revise this. So having a list of topics helped me. Another thing, I believe helped me is is this lead codes top interview questions for the medium level ones. There's easy, medium, and hard. So you can solve all three based on your level of preparation. Now, one more thing I kept in mind is how I approach a question. Whenever you see a question, you usually see the tags on lead code, right? Whether it's easy, medium, or hard. Regardless of what people comment in it, those tags are more or less accurate. Now, what I usually do is I spend around 15 minutes thinking of a solution for an easy problem. 15 minutes if I'm not getting any clue about how to do it, only then I go and check the solution. Not more than 15 minutes, because more than 15 minutes, I think I'll be wasting time on it. Less than 15 minutes is too less to think about anything. Now, this is only when you're getting absolutely no idea about what to do. So if you have absolutely no clue about what to do, you go check the solution after 15 minutes for an easy problem. Similarly for medium after 30 minutes, and for a hard problem after like around 45 minutes. Now, if I am not getting any clue about how to proceed, I'll look through all my previous knowledge. I've tried everything. I've tried all the different methods that I can think of, but none of them are working. That's when I go and look at the solution. Now, if you think you're getting something, you have a small starting base. Start off with that, keep coding, code it up, keep trying, and yeah, eventually you will get it. Now, if you don't, then you can obviously go check the solution. Now, after this, yeah, but even after I solved it, I looked back, went to the solution, checked the discussion panel, because this gave me various more ideas of how other people have approached it, and I could implement it in some other questions as well. So just solving it is not enough. Understanding the various ways to solve it opens your mind up to it. Now, I'd like to come to my final point, which is don't be afraid to ask for help. Ask help from your seniors, your batchmates, whoever you need. Before every interview I gave, I've had at least one senior take my mock interview. This is after the regular. This is after the regular mock interview scheduled by the club seniors. I have had them look at my resume. I have even called them up at like 2 a.m. in the night asking for solutions for a question which I couldn't sleep without solving. Obviously, I texted them first to make sure they were awake. But yeah, so I've had these discussions with them. I've had discussion about various topics, and all this helped me a lot. So always ask for help whenever you need it. So I'll just summarize my 5 points, and which is never say no to an opportunity. The worst thing that can happen is you gain the experience, which is something more than you had previously. Know what you want and give it your all. Now, I would like to say all of us have, third point is all of us have the potential to do it. We just have to work hard. All of us over here study at an ITK, no matter which branch you come from, no matter how much you've studied. You start today, work on your basics, and I'm sure you can crack whichever company you want. Fourth one is have a preparation plan, which is extremely important. And finally, the seniors, keep annoying them, keep asking them questions, and yeah, first years, don't think you haven't the first years who currently moved to second, don't worry if you think you have an disadvantage in this case. um, you will get to know seniors eventually. None of us, I mean, I didn't know many seniors in first year. I came to know them after I joined club, my the technical clubs, which is what they help you for. Yeah, so this is all I had today. Sakshi, you can take over.
Thank you so much, Prakriti, for sharing your experience. So yeah, our last panel member, Madhumita Nara, she is an alumni and former president of IE, is currently working in Google and also did an internship in Morgan Stanley. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it to the event today. But if you have any questions for her, you can ask them during the Q&A session or send a message to the IE's Insta handle and we'll forward them to her. Now we're done with the panelists sharing their experiences and we'll have the Q&A session. You can raise your hand if you have any questions or type them out in the chat box and we'll have our panel members answer them. The stage is all yours. Okay, I think Adarsh has a doubt. Yeah, you can go ahead and unmute and speak.
Good evening, everyone. So my doubt was that like how important is doing competitive programming for learning DSA? Like I know DSA is important, but some seniors say CP is not the same as DSA, and some focus much on it. So like I don't know how much to focus on that.
Okay, I guess I can take this. Um, CP is not something I enjoy doing, and thus I never did CP. They're two completely different things, DSA and CP. CP is more like a sport. Uh, People do it to solve questions, and yeah, it's not something I enjoyed, so it's not something I ever did. But it does help you open up your mind to it. It does help you think in new ways, which could be helpful. But if you are very clear with the basics, I think that will be enough.
Yeah, and adding on to Prakriti, what Prakriti said, I feel like CP is basically application of the data structures, right? So, like whatever data structures, like you can't solve any problems. You can implement the data structures, that is one thing. But how are you actually going to use them? Because when you go to the companies, they don't really make you implement some data structure. They want you to like given a task, you should choose a data structure which would fulfill your need the better way. So for that, like CP is one way to do that. Like you'll get to know what is the best data structure you can use in this with the time complexity. And CP is like um like if not only implementation wise, but like how you are going to apply it to do certain tasks. So in CP you have the process, you have the logic. So that logic building, I don't think so in data structure would be able to learn. So that's where CP can help. So I think if you focus, like you can read, go through the data structures, but you can learn the applications using CP. But yeah,
Yeah,
like it's not the only way. And like what Prakriti has said, like she focused on DA and it worked. So,
I think,
yeah,
and
go.
one more thing important is like continuous practice is needed. Like practicing for 1 month and like skipping it for 2 months is actually like wasting the whole 1 month you practice. So continuous practice, even if it's like at least 1 or 2 questions each day, it's really important so that you won't forget your concept. Otherwise, you start over like after a long time, you again need to go over all the basics, and like you actually start as a fresher. So continuous practice is also very important.
Okay, so where should I practice on that from? By like you gave a link for I think lead code and or some Google Doc also. So which sites would be the best to like practice and for the essay and CP both?
For CP, I can recommend Code Forces. So on Code Forces, there are many contests are there. You can filter using tags and do it. Like that is a good thing. That's a like in Code Forces, they are not interview based questions. So that's only for your pure practice. But if you want like for interview directly, then you can go for lead code. There are interview based questions on those. So it depends. Like I would suggest, like what I did was I used to do CP on Code Forces, and then my interviews were approaching, I would do it on lead code. That was my approach.
So my approach, I usually use Lead Code and Geek for Geeks. Geeks for Geeks has company specific. Lead Code Premium only allows you to see the company specific ones. But yeah, so company specific questions were there from Geeks for Geeks, and normal practice I did on Lead Code.
Yeah, but there are like
Yeah,
websites also on which you can find those questions which are logged in lead code. So that's also there. You can just Google for that question and find it.
yeah, and
Regarding
usually like especially for Google, like I think coding on Google Docs help. Like I used to do that. Even I usually look at the questions on LeetCode and do the coding on Google Docs. So that's also helpful.
regarding Google Summer of Code, could you please explain how to understand instruction to set up a particular open source project?
Yeah, Aditya, we'll be having a next session based on GSOC only. It's on Saturday. So we'll take your question there. It's fine. I hope it's fine for you.
Okay, okay. This is not
Yeah,
regarding GSOC, is it?
yeah.
This is basically about the Google internship and placement. Yeah, so that process. So the GSOC one, you can attend the session on Saturday and we'll be clearing all your doubts based on that.
We'll be having an ICPC session also for more in CP on Sunday. So you guys can attend that for more information about CP.
I had a question.
Yeah, so
Yeah, okay. You guys told that having a good and extensive resume is very helpful in clearing a lot of rounds. So what exactly do you guys put in your resume? What sort of stuff gives you an edge over the other people? Like, is it more participating and doing well in contests or doing different kind of projects? What sort of stuff is helpful?
Yeah, I think like the projects is pretty much important. Like having different kind of projects, like instead of putting the same kind of ML projects for three projects, having projects from different areas is actually helpful. Like that shows our interest in different areas. And also, I think I read somewhere, like I think from Cracking the Coding interview, that book only. So while writing about the projects, also like we should tell what we achieved and like how it had a plus point compared to the older method and like that. So yeah, well, each line in resume matters because it's a limited space with which we try to show off all our skills. Yeah, projects is pretty important. Then yeah, all the extracurricular activities, like not like all, just don't fill it up. So just like that at the end, that also matters. Like that means like you are interested in, you are an overall performer, that also matters. Then I think basically CGPA, I think yeah, after the cutoff it doesn't matter, but yeah, good CGPA anyway always shows your academic skills. That's also important. So yeah, anything to add, Prakriti, Shraddha?
Yeah, like in addition to
Okay, so
that,
in
in my
Google Kickstart, regarding Google
yeah,
Kickstart, we have a new type of questions called interactive questions, right?
yeah,
Yeah, so what do they do?
like in interaction questions, like I remember from the code forces contest, it used to be like they'll be giving you some queries, and based upon the answer you get from those like queries, you have to present a new query. So it's like you don't know the input beforehand. So as in when you are
Okay,
actually giving some output, on the basis of that output you'll be getting one more input, and again on the basis of the input you have received, you'll be processing, like you'll be doing something like that.
input, the test case will be based on the previous test case.
So
Not so?
like okay, no, it'd be something like, let's say that okay, let's say, let's take this example, like uh,
The
I'm saying
context
that
of
I'm
Google Kickstart.
yeah, I'm just telling you the interaction problems, like how they work.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, for example, I'm telling you that I'm going to think of a number between 1 to 100, okay, and you have to tell me what that number is. So let's say that number is x, okay, and you have to, like, you have to give me some number, and let's do a binary search on that. So like I'll tell you the number is between 1 to 100. You'll tell me is the number greater than or less than 50. Okay, then because I know the number already, I'll just say, okay, I just confused you. Okay, let me go over it again. So it's some like I'm the problem and you are solving it. Okay, so I've told you that you have to guess the number which I am thinking. So what you can do in one operation is that you can just give me a number, and I'll tell you if my number is smaller than your number or greater than your number. And on the basis of the answer that I give you, you can perform few more queries and guess that number. So it's basically I'm doing binary search, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like for example, my number is 80. Okay, I've told you it is between 1 to 100, and then you will ask me, is the number 50? So I'll say, then you will ask me, you'll give me a number 50, and I'll say, no, my number is actually greater than 50. So because you know that the number is greater than 50, you are not going to choose any number smaller than 50, right?
Yeah.
So your next is set, the next number that you are giving to me is based on my answer if I told you greater or smaller. So that is interaction. So based on what I'm telling you, if the number is greater or smaller, you are deciding your next output.
Okay, is that the only way interaction can happen?
This is one example of interaction. Like this is how interaction problems are.
Okay, any other example?
Any other example? Okay, I've seen these kinds of questions. Um, I can give one more example based on this similar thing. Like it's same totally.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope it gave any some idea. Other than that, like maybe you can contact me again and I can search a better problem for this and share with you.
Okay.
So we have a question in the chat box. It says there are a number of coding contests like CodeJam and Kickstart. Does Google take into account people who do well in these contests? Will this really help to get an intern or placement at Google? Yeah.
Okay, so like I'll take this one. Like I think when I started, when Google came first for the internship for us, in my resume I actually had nothing. Just like I just had these projects, and those projects were not very very complicated projects. They're very simple projects. In addition to those, like I mentioned some honors and awards in which I just mentioned my rankings in Google Kickstart contest or Code Forces contest, and my resume got shortlisted. So I think it matters a little bit, not as much, but it does. I think according to me, because this will show you this will show it to them like what is your standing in these problem solving abilities. So maybe I think it matters a little bit, like if the rank is really good.
I'd like to add something to the question we were asked before about the resumes. I think there are three kinds of resumes. One thing is where you can focus on your experience. If you have good experience and great over there, that's where it gets shortlisted. Another one is where they focus on projects. If you have great projects and if you've done good hard work in that, you can mention that and that will help you. Third is what Shraddha's resume was, an amazing record of CP and all those rankings. So if you have either of these three and you put it on your resume does become great. Because I had mediocre projects and not much of a CP rank, but I had good experience when it came to GSOC and Amazon and all that. So that's what helped me. Yeah, so I think these are the three different categories. So it depends on your interest and what you have on your plate. You can present it in your resume in that way.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is how an EC student can get prepared to apply for Google or Microsoft.
uh, I think in throughout my Google interview process, they never asked me any question related to IT. So I think it's no different. But what matters, like because it's open to, if it's open to your branch, that means they are okay with taking you. Like they want to take you. It's not like they would keep you aside. So I was not asked any question related to the branch I was in. So I don't think so. It matters, and it'll be the I think same process for like what CS and IT people follow. Anything to add, Prakriti?
Nope, I think that covers everything as long as your basics are strong. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing. Like, I think IT and CS students get a basic course on data structures. I don't know if that's available in EC or Triple. So you should try to like build up these basic data structures and trying to understand the time complexities. Like even in the same pace with IT students, you should start in at least second year either. So that would help in internships in third year. So you should keep preparing in their level. That would matter.
Yeah, so like the approach is same. Like I don't remember like learning DSA specifically from the courses we were taught. Like I read it from GFG code courses. So I think if you follow the same procedure, everything will be fine.
Yeah, and there are numerous books that you can refer which will very clear your things very much, like cracking the coding interview is what Hima said. Another is this DPV. Um, I do not know the full form of DPV,
Yeah,
but you can
that's
Google it.
funny something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's abbreviated on the author's name, and
Yeah.
CLRS. So these three
Oh,
have really good
that's a
questions.
big CLRS.
CLRS again by the author's name. So these books
Yeah,
are
like
really
that book is a little bit scary. CLRS.
okay. It's huge, but it's explained very well. Yeah. Questions are good there too. Yeah. Any one of these books you can take. Or numerous videos on YouTube, numerous playlists, blogs.
Yeah, and
Okay,
also
so
one thing I'd like to say is that for the preparation, like there were some juniors who were asking me about the mock interviews and all. Like mock interviews are really helpful, but like this is one thing I also did. Was like on YouTube also you'll find some people taking interviews for Google. Like there is one Clement Malescu. So that guy, so he takes interviews of other people. So if you watch those videos, they could be extremely helpful. Like I learned how they were approaching the problems and what things they were telling in the interview. So sometimes it may feel that the things that you are thinking are very obvious. Like they're obvious that you shouldn't even tell them, but it's not like that. You should state even the most obvious fact. Those videos can also be very helpful.
yeah, I think the next question has been answered to some level, but if you have anything to add to it, is development experience helpful in getting internships?
In almost all of my interviews, I was not asked a single question about anything except DSA. A little bit of OS and DBMS was there, but very little. So I guess there are different kinds of interviews. If you ask other people, they will tell you they were asked questions. But in my personal experience, I was never asked a question on development. And in Google, the only question asked is about data structure.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, in
yeah,
Google it's only DSA, but for Microsoft internship, I was asked some polymorphism and like object-oriented programming questions. So since I had never such experience, so I haven't prepared in that way. So I couldn't answer them properly. So it doesn't hurt just to brush up the basics of polymorphism and like object-oriented programming and stuff.
yeah, and OOPS is also important for system design. So, like even if you think from the perspective of the interviewer, they know that you are a person who has just studies 2 3 years in engineering, right? So they don't expect like very much experience from you. So they won't see your skill set as much as they will try to see your problem solving skills. So that is like thing that you should focus on more.
Now, yeah, but while this answer is true for only internships, while for placements, they usually have a separate interview, not Google, other companies, specific interview only for your development experience and projects and stuff. So for internships, I don't think it's necessary, but for placements, it's definitely very important.
Our next question is how many problems you have solved in lead code and from other platforms you used during your entire problem solving journey?
Okay, so I saw like it was barely crossed 100 on lead code, I think, or maybe even less. On code forces, I solved, and I don't really remember the count, but it was like 500, I think, maybe. Like I'm not sure, but like that also includes many easy problems, like from where when I started, and then there are a few hard problems. So I don't think so. The count matters, but like yeah, that's what the count is.
Yeah, and
I
I
don't.
don't know my count. Yeah, same Prakriti.
The thing is not it's not the number of
Yeah,
questions you
but
solve.
yeah,
It's
it's
how
how
you
you
solve.
approach them.
Yes. It's
So
you need
like
to know.
Yeah, like for example, if you have a BFS question, doing like a 10 BFS question won't help you. Doing different kind of questions which need different approach and different thinking abilities, like that will matter.
yeah.
So
So when I was in second year, I was like on when I was doing it on code forces, I used to focus on this number of questions a lot. And so just to increase the number count of those questions, I would do many easy problems. Like I'll do 20 questions, 20 easy questions. So that's not worth it actually. Not at all worth it. Just a waste of time doing what you already know. So it's not like something that you should look for.
so in yeah, concluding, you do not need to look at the number of questions. None of us remembers it. You just need to keep practicing. Now, let's say if you have 1 or 2 months time, give at least 4 questions per day, at least on different topics. Do not do a question you've solved already or a similar one, right? So just keep doing different kind of questions and once you get the hang of it, move on.
Yeah, so the next one is about language. So Java or CPP if I am in EC. I know both languages up to a certain point because I learned one in school and one in college, which is better since I heard big companies use Java a lot. Will it give a plus point?
I don't think the language when you code on matters. The way you use a language for coding these kind of problems and the way you use it in development is completely different. So they do not look at the language which you are going to be using during the interview. Most of the time, this now, yeah, this yeah. So most of the time, I prefer CPP. I've heard there is a lot of people who people are usually familiar with C++ and Java. Python is something that people prefer in our college, but the interviewers are not very familiar with it, so I would say avoid that language. But C++ and Java both are equally good, I think. Yes, Shraddha, Hema, anything to add?
Yeah, for interviews, the languages don't really matter. Like just what Prakriti said. And for the internship, like if you get the language, you already know it's good. But it doesn't really matter. What matters is how quickly you are able to ramp up with a particular language, because in your companies you will have to work on a lot of different frameworks that you are not aware of. So it's the ability how you use the, like it's about the basics only, like how you are able to use the different data structures, because they are same in all the languages. It's about using them. Language is just a medium for those. So it's good if you are quickly able to ramp up with it and use it. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and like if you know one language, learning another won't be that much difficult because it's just pretty much the basics, only the syntactical difference is there. So in case of my internship, I had to use C sharp, which is usually used in Microsoft. So like it wasn't that hard actually, similar to C++ or C or like that object-oriented language. So it doesn't matter actually. Like if you have a good grasp in one language, learning another doesn't won't take much time. You can do it easily.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is what is it like working at Google other than coding?
Okay, so I can take
Shraddha.
this. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Shraddha only can answer.
for the 12 weeks that I worked over there. So, like, I couldn't actually go to the office, so I don't know about all the things that you can do there. But, I'll tell you my week schedule. It would be something like we would have daily meetings, and then we'll have a one fun meeting on Fridays. So, in which we'll just chill and, it'll be very chill environment. So you can just simply message anyone from Google. We have these virtual coffee sessions in which you don't really drink coffee, but you meet with some people. So I had a chat with people from Singapore and from Mountain View and all those. So you get to build a good connection. And then there is something called MemeGen there. So MemeGen is a platform which you create memes on the news, like things which are happening at Google. So, it's like you have to study and clear Google interview to make memes. So, and then there is a score that be there for meme, like whoever gets the most number of upvotes. So all those things are going on there. Like we used to have many events during internship for interns and for discussing among peers. So yeah, that's about it. The environment is really very chill. I feel very comfortable there. Yeah.
Yeah, so the next one is what kind of project should one do to put on their resume? Can you give a few examples?
Examples, I think as I said, doing projects on different domains, I think that helps. So in my case, I have one ML project and then one project related to signal processing, in which we measured heart rate and all. It's not that complex project, but still one from signal processing. And I guess I have one from NLP side, and one more is there, and that's from a different domain. I intentionally choose different domains so that I can put it off in the project. Usually I had a couple I think as third year approach, you'll understand you'll have a couple of ML projects, but I think taking projects in different domains will actually help. Like if you want the specific details of the project, I think you can anyway ping us and we can share that.
Another good way to do projects is open source. So if you go there, if you see their open issues, you can do it individually. Some are pretty easy, some are a medium level, some are really hard. Um, Doing open source is really adds value to your resume, and you don't need to be a part of any program to do it. But yeah, open source and just doing those questions and those projects you can put on your resume. That's also a good way to do your projects. Yeah. Sakshi, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. So it was, is there any branch restriction while applying for internships or placements? Do minors in CS or IT help students from non-circuital branches?
Some companies do put a branch restriction. I think they're opening up to minors this year. But yeah, there is certain restrictions. Many companies do open from many all the branches. Uh, yeah, yeah, but there are few which only allow CSIT and few that allow minors specifically as well.
Was there any restriction for Google, Prabhati? I don't remember.
No, I don't think there's no restriction in Google. Google only focuses on your DSA skills. Rest they can. I mean, what I understand from their ideology is they want to see how you think, and once you can think, they can teach you the rest. So that's why they only care about DSA.
Yeah, like in fact, I remember working like with a like there was an intern along with me. He was from IIT Kharagpur, mechanical branch, and he was an intern over there, and he also got the PPO. Is the branch? I don't think so. They have this clearly.
For Google, there is none, but for other companies, you might face some restrictions.
So the next one is about language preference for CP. Is it all right if Java is used over C++, or are there any clear advantages of C++ over Java?
I don't think so. Like Java is as good as C++. I think. Like I haven't used Java myself, but I've seen many top programmers, coders who are using Java. So like I think it's cool. Like as far as I know, there are no advantages or edge for any language over another for CP.
You can get more.
Yeah, I use Python, so I think you get the point. Even Python. Yeah, I usually use Python. Like I forgot C++ after my first year, so no, second year I think. Yeah, so language doesn't matter.
You can get more information about the CP on the Sunday session because we'll have ICBC top finalists in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so next one is also kind of CP related, but if you'd like to answer it, it's when it comes to ratings in CodeChef or Codeforces, what ratings should I aim to achieve?
I didn't have a rating in Codeforces or CodeChef. Oh,
Same with me.
Shraddha.
I have a rating which is not worth mentioning because it's very low right now. I had lost a touch and then I again become a newbie. So like I've become newbie many times. The rating, like because now I'm Google and you know my rating, so I think it doesn't matter much. So ratings don't matter much, but like you know that if your rating is good, definitely you are good at problem solving in CP. So what you can aim for is like I think specialist and expert on code forces. And on code chef, I think 3 star, 4 star is like if you are aiming, then like 4 star, 5 star is very good.
And we can add one question here, like up to which rating of questions do they solve at least for interview process? So is it 1700 rating, 1800 rating? You can answer this.
Yeah, like 1700, 1800 of code forces. Like rating on which platform it is.
Question rating. I mean, code process has itself a question rating, right? So I am
Okay, so
asking like
what?
up to which rating is it okay, like, or up to which rating they could able to solve to make sure they can uh,
Okay,
yeah,
that they have got that level. Are you
yeah,
asking
yeah,
that?
yeah,
Okay.
understand. Yeah.
So the thing is that like if you're you see that your rating graph is 1200 or 1300 something, you'll be under pupil, I think, green color. So like if you want to achieve some level of expert, which is I think 1700 something, you need to do questions like 2000 or 2100 rating types. So you have to do a way higher rating questions in order to achieve a lower rating. So if you want to get expert, maybe you do 2000 or 2100 questions. And that also depends on the topics. Like this is for DP dynamic programming, you can do 2100 or above or 2000 above. And for trees, like that depends on the kind of questions. So if you want to become expert, actually people say that you should be able to do ABC questions as fast as you can. So that would so ABC questions they say are ad hoc type questions generally, and more topic related questions are D, E, and F. So I think 1800 and above will work.
All right. Yeah, continue.
Okay, so yeah, so I wanted to ask like I also have the confusion that where should I focus more right now, like in second year between open source development or CP because CDSA is pretty important also, but like you, I also don't like CP much. So, but so what path should I choose to like maintain the optimum level to win the book prize?
Um, I didn't get the question. I mean, your voice was breaking. Was it clear?
Yeah, you can write it on chat box better.
Yeah. So should I write it in the box like that was necessary?
Yeah, yeah. Your voice is very feeble and kind of breaking, so it's hard to understand.
Yeah, Sakshi, you can take next.
Yeah, so until then, here's another question. There's a gap before your internship starts. How do you utilize it?
Huh. Okay, so my advice would be to do coding, like not CP the interview questions because you won't have time after it. Um, I mostly chilled. Yeah, that's what I did. I didn't do much. Shraddha, Hema, did you guys do anything productive there?
No, I just went to Bangalore to visit my friends, and yeah, I did not attend classes. That is for sure. And yeah, other than this, like I tried to do CP as much as I could do because I knew I will not be getting time, and I didn't get any time during internship. And yeah, don't try to do this like during your internship. Try to focus on internship only. So like you shouldn't be ruining both the things. You won't be able to prepare. You won't be able to do the internship. You're doing both of them together. So you can utilize this time for preparing. Also, I'll suggest. And it's also like try to chill if you can.
Yeah. Nice, Shika. Yeah.
Yeah, so Adar's question was, what should I focus on more between open source development and CP in second year?
Oh, okay. This is not a this or that. Both of them. Okay, so as I said, CP is a sport. It's like a sport. It's something people do for fun. I mean, when they are interested in it. DSA and CP are two different things. You will really need to focus on your DSA, your basics, and all that is extremely important. The algorithms, and you start with that. If you that's not clear, anything, I don't think much of most will matter. You need that. Now, I can share my open source experiences. Shraddha can share her CP experience, and you can take whichever you prefer. But I would say this is not a this or a that situation. Open source helped me understand the development side of things. It helped me understand how to code, what the structure is supposed to be, how how I'm supposed to do a project, how I'm supposed to approach any project, and that helped me during my internship because I had the experience. I could tell my mentor that this is something that I think we should do, and yeah, it usually was a good suggestion. So yeah, that's how open source development helped me. Uh,
Yes, like I'll add on to that. So like I'll say like this is actually a harsh reality, but the truth is that CP is important because for clearing the interviews, most of the companies they keep this coding round, which are difficult to crack. So you must be aware with solving the question in a particular time frame. So I'd suggest if you haven't already decided or you don't have special interest in one of the things and you are just starting, then I'd suggest CP is a good place because it will help you getting the internship in the first place. So you can use your experience like you can do both of them together. So it's not like you have to achieve some grandmaster level and totally dive into CP. So, but like CP is, I think, more important. I haven't done open source myself, but it is important during the internship. But for getting the internship, you need CP, like for clearing the coding rounds at least.
Both of them helps build your thinking abilities. When you're contributing to open source, you understand how the data structure is used as well during open source as well. So yeah, I think both are equally important. But yeah, as Shraddha said, CP will definitely help you get into it when you're able to solve more questions.
Like that's just for important for clearing the coding rounds, if I'll say, especially for that.
Yeah, so the next one is in Google and Microsoft, is there any pure electronics or communication job profile?
I guess you can check out their careers portal for this. I'm from IT. I'm not sure if there's anything for EC. Oh.
Yeah, same. But I think they'll have because they have this Chromebooks and Surface, so they might have.
So if you go to the career site, I'm sure you'll be able to find hardware jobs as well because I've seen people in hardware roles.
Yeah, we do. Like I had like some hardware interns who also work. I think it might be there.
Yeah, so if you can like if you search their job profile, you can find this. Just share the link. So you can search by location. You can search by what do you want to do, and
Okay, so next one is there were 125 people in the meet. How many of them will be able to crack Google or Microsoft?
okay. I think all of them. I mean, I the only reason why people don't is because I mean, either you don't get the opportunity or sometimes you just think you can't and then you don't. So I think all 25 people over here were capable of it. You just need to put in the effort in understanding the basics or put in the effort in building your resume by doing more projects or CP or other kinds of experience which you can gain. Once you get shortlisted for their interviews, it's plain TSA. And some of them are not very hard as well. I mean, I've seen other companies ask harder questions. So, yeah, according to me, all 125 of them were capable of it. It's just the effort you guys need to put in.
Yeah, I agree with Prakriti totally. Like in fact, there's no
Yeah, like
specific
you should
count
not
that.
settle for that. Yeah, you
Yeah,
should.
like
Sorry,
go on.
go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you speak. Yeah.
No, no, like I was just saying, like, don't settle for anything. Like, yeah, as Pragati said earlier, like, you should try to take advantage of all the opportunities you get. So like I said, I didn't write the Google test. The reason was like I didn't want to prepare again. I got a PPO, so like I was happy with it. But and I always thought like I will never be good enough in CP, especially I didn't have that background. But as I said, like that 1 week I just prepared the basics and the time complexities. I'd made sure, and like that was pretty much enough. So yeah, like there is nothing special with someone who gets into Google. It's just practice and you know taking up all the opportunities you get.
And a little bit of luck.
Yeah, that matters.
A lot. Yeah,
Yeah, but
and yeah, adding on to that, like yeah, so like if you're afraid like Google will come with a certain number of people only they want to take, it's not that case. Like I know colleges from where like they have taken 20 people at the same time. So in fact, Google is actually hiring a lot. Like
Mhm.
uh, so you have like a good chance of getting into it if you put in some effort into it. So it's really possible to get into Google. Yeah, like as Sima told, it's nothing special about getting into Google.
So just go to the careers portal right now, apply to every role that you think you might want to join, and you might just get called to something and give it your best then. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we have some more questions, but most of them are about CP and open source. So for y'all, I'd like to suggest that we have sessions on Saturday and Sunday, one about GSOC and the other one about ICPC. So whatever doubts you'll have about open source, y'all could go ahead and ask them on the Saturday session, and anything related to CP, it'll be cleared on Sunday session. So please do attend that. Moving on to related to Google. Okay, I think there's one. Can you throw some light on data science and machine learning? Can you talk about its pros and cons?
Um, I don't have an answer for this.
Yeah, like even I
So
haven't worked in that domain, so even I don't have enough knowledge to speak about it.
Ritik,
Like
you wanna know?
I think machine learning, ML, and data science, like usually, like everyone has a basic knowledge. So it would be better, like if you have also like the basic courses, take up the basic courses, even if your department offers it or not. So by the time I started, like almost everyone was clear with ML and other stuffs, but I wasn't. So that's when I started studying ML and other ML related projects. Yeah, I think ML projects. I think it's not something tough or anything. Like you can just join some courses and yeah, Coursera, Udemy, right? If I'm not wrong. Yeah, such courses will help for the basics and projects. Doing projects is also that isn't that difficult. Yeah, so first taking some basic courses will help. Like, and I usually, if I have to learn any domain, I usually check for this MIT lectures. So that actually will cover all the basics. I think this MIT lectures is better. Like this MIT and Stanford lectures is far more better than this Coursera or other courses available. So if that's not available, you can always fall back onto the online online. Yeah, anything to add? I don't know.
Let's just call upon our code sig head, Ritik, code sig admin, Ritik, to answer this. He has experience with ML.
yeah, we can take this up later. Now we can continue.
Okay, so the next one, I think this one's quite important. Did you face burnouts in your preparation journey? How to deal with burnouts?
Yeah, I mean, considering the fact that I didn't like CP, there were a lot of burnouts. Um, just need to push past them. As I said, if you have a plan and if you're focusing on new topics every day, it is something that will help you not get burnt out. If suppose you're working on graphs and you get fed up of graphs, so you do not understand them, because that's usually when the burnouts happen. Like you either don't understand the concept, or just facing too much hard. It's being too hard. So either change the topic. You can probably keep that on hold for a while and go to other something like, or you can go for DP, you can go for greedy, or something else which you think might help you. Another thing is you can probably keep a pause on DS itself and focus on other concepts like operating systems, DBMS, which will help you during the placements and internship season because they will also be asked. Um, Otherwise, just take a break. It's completely okay. Stop worrying about it. Leave it aside for like 1 hour, 2 hours. Go watch a movie or just go take a walk just go take a walk, read a book, whatever you enjoy. Yeah, that's my strategy.
Yeah, like I would suggest to take a break. That actually helps, like movie, walking, like go somewhere, talk to friends. Yeah, movie actually helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, my strategy was to watch anime.
It's okay to take a break in middle. It's not like you have to continuously work on something. Take a break. Take a breather. Come back to it more focused. And because if you try to push yourself through the burnout, you're gonna get frustrated. You're not gonna understand anything.
Yeah, or you can talk to your seniors also.
Yes, just call them up and chill with them.
Yeah, so the next one, I think this is more related to the company's policy. Google and Microsoft are increasing their female employees. Like Microsoft increased 17% of total female employees in last year. Is a gender advantage there for female?
I
I mean,
think her connection is off. Or
hmm?
is Sakshi audible to you guys?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
It was breaking in between. Yeah, but you
Okay,
got
was
it
it not
first.
audible? Okay. Right.
Yeah, just repeat the question again.
Yeah, so yeah, it's Google and Microsoft are increasing their female employees. Like Microsoft increased 17% of total female employees in last 3 years. Is gender advantage there for female? So yeah, sounds like a company policy about hiring female employees, but if you have any take on it, then please go ahead.
Yeah, like to be honest, I feel there is like female advantage. I don't know, but it's based upon the facts and the stats. Like they are actually hiring like they increase. There has been an increase in the number of females they're hiring. I think it's true to some extent.
I think the increase is due to their female specific programs that they have. Like Microsoft has Codes, Amazon has Amazwa, which are specifically open for female itself. And that's where the gender advantage comes in. When you
Mm.
go into the general pool, it's usually the software engineers taking in your interviews. So I'm not sure how they can give you a preference over there. If you're good in CP, they usually like it's going to be us in a few years. And when I have spoken to seniors, and they say there's nothing as such. They don't look at the gender while asking questions. So in a normal interview, in a normal setup, at least in the technical rounds for proceeding, there isn't. I don't think there's a gender advantage. I'm not sure what happens with the HR part of it.
Yeah, like I don't think like they'll take you if you're not strong at your basics, like and with coding and all, they'll take you just because you're female. They look, yeah, for like female specific programs that matters. But I think, yeah, while appearing for general interviews, I don't think females will have much advantage.
Yeah. Yeah. Shraddha, do you have anything to say? Or
No, yeah, that's
okay.
about it. Like
Okay. So yeah, the next one is were all your projects mentioned in your resume mentored or were they individual or group?
Okay, so in my resume, I had one was my GSOC project, which had a mentor. Others were course projects. So they were group, and you can say we had a mentor as our faculty, but yeah. So I mean, individual projects are also good. Mentored projects, as long as and group projects, as long as you mentioned specifically what you worked on. but while having a general idea of the entire project.
Yeah, like in my case, I had mentioned two course projects which were group, and I wouldn't say we had a mentor because there was just faculty was there, but the reality. So and then I mentioned my club project which I did under Srinidhi. So he was a mentor. Me and Shanali did it together. So yeah.
Yeah, in my case also, like all the projects were group projects, especially course projects. Like for IT, I think we'll have a lot of group projects. So I picked four from them.
Yeah, so next is how long does it take to become comfortable with topics such as DP and graph algorithms?
Um, this depends from person to person.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm comfortable with DP right now as well. Graph is
Yeah,
some
same with me. DP, I suck.
Graphs is something that I've gotten a basic hangover, but DP is something that's still bothers me. So it just depends from person to person.
So, graph topics, like if you're really interested, it's actually really not easy, but it's kind of interesting. But those who find it tough, it can be a little bit hard for them. Yeah, so as Pragati said, it depends.
Yeah, and for DP, I'd suggest there is a ladder on lead code. Like if you filter only the questions for DP, you'll see there are some hard questions, easy and medium questions. So I suggest do the hard questions. They will take hell lot of time. Like I used to do only one question per day. It was like that. Like for me at least, you will learn the DP state and transition. So it takes time, but you'll not be able to master it ever. I think I'm not comfortable with DP yet. Ever I don't know. So it takes time and experience. You need to give time to be comfortable. You won't actually feel like you are comfortable, but you will realize that you are able to solve the questions which are given to you in interviews.
Yeah. So if you understand the concept, like however long you take to understand the concept, when you find that one person who you understand, it's when you get comfortable with it. Like if you find a series of on YouTube which helps you understand that concept properly, if you find it in the first go, you'll understand it in 3-4 hours. Otherwise, it'll take you 10 to 15 hours to understand that one concept till you find something that makes it clear for you. So there's different styles of understanding it, and what speaks to you is what will make you comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I think this is probably the last question for the day. How important is your CGPA for internships and placements?
Um,
I think it depends on the company cutoff. I think CGPA weight is good. Like my CGPA is not very awesome, like just above average. So I don't think so. CGPA matters much. Like unless you are aiming for higher studies where it actually matters. So I think it would be good if you are not aiming for higher studies, then a CGPA just enough to clear the cutoff for companies, which is generally over 8. It's good.
yeah. But if you have a CGPA about above 8, you don't need to worry much. Above 9 for higher studies.
Yeah, but like nowadays, like companies have stopped giving much importance to the CGPA because we all know how we are getting our CGPAs these days. Yeah, so it's not a very trustworthy criteria for judging someone.
Yeah, I think that's possibly the last question. If anyone else has a question, please raise your hand. I think otherwise we're done with the Q&A session. So yeah, I'll wait for a minute probably if anyone has a question.
We hope we were able to answer your questions. And if there's something not clear, you can again ask that question and we can try to take that up as well.
Okay, I think looks like no one else has any doubt. So, members of our panel, if you if you all have anything to, wrap up this session, maybe you can go ahead and say it.
Okay, so I would just say Google is not something special. It has that charm. Interview process, getting shortlisted is which is harder than actually clearing the interview process. So yeah, so just keep preparing on your DSA, keep sharpening up your resume by doing more projects, um, or doing CB for your rating. And yeah, I think that should be enough. And we hope to see you guys give a talk someday about Google.
Yeah, and feel free to contact anyone whenever you feel like. Any senior, IE senior, non-IE senior, anyone. Like it's always okay to learn something new, even at the cost of being embarrassed. It's just fine. At least you're getting something.
So yeah, so you guys can like check, probably text us on IA's Instagram page, and we'll answer those questions for you there. Or yeah, you can just ping us in MS Teams as well. I think. Yeah, we'll answer here as well. If you have anything.
So I think that's a wrap on this session. Thank you so much to everyone who attended this session and asked valuable questions. And thanks to our panel members for sparing time from their busy schedules to do this. So yeah, I'd like to inform you all that we have two more events in the Ask IE Anything lineup. The GSOC one will be conducted on Saturday at 6 p.m. and the last event of the series will be on ICPC, which will be conducted on Sunday at 6 p.m. So please do attend them. Thank you so much and have a nice day. Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Yeah, bye guys.
Bye,
Thanks for
everyone.
attending.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for attending.
Bye.
Thank you for this session.
Yeah,
No
welcome.
problem.